Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Meeple University. Today we are very excited to review Tiletum.
We have no idea how to pronounce it, but it is ultimately the Belgian city of Tielt.
There you go.
In the modern parlance.
Thank you, Tarrant. We are going to do an overview of the game and then our review. If you are interested in knowing exactly how it plays, we have a separate how to play video. I'll link that in the video description below.
Yes. So we are here, we're in Renaissance Western Europe, being merchants. It's a very Euro theme, ultimately. But the core of this, it is a dice drafting game from the kings of dice drafting game, Daniele Tascini and Simone Luciani. So this is kind of the mechanism we're used to seeing from them. Grand Austria Hotel, Trismegistus, last year's one, well, that was marbles, but it's all these sorts of drafting things. So very familiar for them. In this case, I believe it's most similar to Trismegistus from memory, but you'll roll these dice every round. The pips will associate with one of the wedges on this action wheel.
But I don't think it's that complex of a contract fulfillment as in Trismegistus.
It's not that complex. Trismegistus's issue was that there were symbols and colours and it was so hard to wrap the head around. This is just dice and colours, a bit more traditional, which is good. So each turn, there's 4 rounds in the game, 3 turns in each game, and each turn you're going to draft a die. That is going to give you resources equal to the colour of the die and equal to the number on the die. So here, for example, it would be 4 iron. And then you get to take the action in that wedge equal to the number of action points shown there. And resources plus action points will always equal 7. So you're either going to get a lot of resources and not very many action points, or t'other way round. And that is the core of it. There's 5 real actions. You can get characters, and characters can go into your houses here, and they can unlock trading houses. You can get contracts. Contracts require you to spend resources, usually iron and wool. They go into these slots here, score points and give you pillars, unlock your pillars. You've got the architect. The architect wanders around the board, putting down these pillars that you've unlocked so that you can then spend stone to build cathedrals and get points out of that.
Except that it's the wrong colour.
Except that it's the wrong colour. I normally play blue. The merchant goes out wandering around the cities and placing these trading houses that you've unlocked. These guys can both also pick up all these bonus tiles here into your collection, give you crests or give you various helping actions. You've got the king track, just lets you move up this king track. Every turn you're going to go down a certain amount, so it's going to pull you down to the negative points, or you want to try to get up to the positive points, because at the end of each round this is going to both determine turn order and how many points you score or lose. And as is often the case in their dice drafting games, there is there is a wild action, and so you can take this here and it will let you do any one of the other actions on the board, but with this number of action points instead of that number. Yep. A couple of other core things you're doing: you can collect these crests. They can complete your houses if you spend food, give you various bonuses. And there's an interesting intermediate scoring at the end of each round. You see at the start of the game what the 4 intermediate scorings are going to be. But you have to either build a house or have your merchant in the city where it's happening in order to score it. Otherwise you get nothing. So it makes the merchant movement piece rather important. 4 rounds go through, you get some extra points for putting lots of pillars and houses out on the board, for filling up your houses, and that's the game.
A lot is going on in this game. There's really juicy engine building in this one, and there are a lot of ways to gain points. And you can see here, Oh my gosh. Look at this. It's like, do you want to get the resources or you want to get the actions? And this turns every round as well.
Yes, this will rotate, keep it fresh.
What do you think, Tarrant?
I really enjoyed it. I think, in fact, I would go as far as to say that out of all of their dice drafting games, I've enjoyed this one the most. Wow. I think it is... There were a lot of really interesting decisions to be made. And there was this up here created a lot of competition, and that was probably my favourite thing about it. Because this is 4 out of like 12 tiles or whatever it's going to be, and that's going to tell you what sorts of actions are going to be worth more points. And so by doing that, it creates competition for those actions. First time we played, rounds 3 and 4 were all about crests.
Yep.
Get lots of crests and you were going to get lots of points out of those.
That's so competitive.
Getting the crests off these, running to the cities that had crests in them, it was really competitive, and it made for tough choices, which I really liked.
Whether it's 2 players, 3 players or 4 players, this is still tough because of the limited action.
Yes.
And obviously it scales down for lower player counts, and you can see the 4 and 3 for higher player counts.
Yep. And that was also really tough.
It is really tough.
You know, you want to get if you want to score an objective, you've either got to get your wagon there or get a house down. And a lot of these only have 1 spot for a house. Even at 4 players, they only have 1 spot for a house.
Or 2. Oh yeah, this one is only 1 and 1.
Yeah, so that also becomes a really competitive thing.
Anything else that you want to share about your engine building, which you've done very well?
Some of the other things I liked here, all of the resources had a really definitive use. And then there's an action that lets you exchange them, which is this one here. But every type of resource had a clear use. So wool and iron was mostly about contracts. Food was mostly about moving these crests onto these slots here. Stone was all about building these cathedrals. Correct. And these will get really competitive if there's lots of cathedral scoring. And the gold, you can use it to like adjust these actions. So I could turn this into a 4 and then turn it into the... Did I have that on the wrong side? Oh, we've rotated it. That's why they're all in the wrong slot. You can turn these dice, change its action without changing its resources, or you can spend them 2 for 1 as wilds. So the gold helps to make things a bit forgiving, but it's otherwise not going to drive points. So really nice balance to hit as well.
You never know what's going to come up. Each round might not be, food dies, so it's struggling to get food. The only way is to do the exchange, so you kind of like don't know. And one thing that I quite like of the tightness of this is this board. So whenever you get the square...
How can I forget?
No, I'm sure you'll remember eventually. These... Whatever, so there's a different one, sorry. There's characters, there's bonus tiles, there's contract tiles. First, they would go to this area first. And you can see they are only limited. They are only 4. And hence, you have to kind of manage to make sure that you can delegate it. You can fulfill the contract, so you can put it there and unlock the pillar. You can, house the character. Make sure you have enough the character points to house it and things like that. So you make sure that you can't have a way of putting it away so that you can gain more. Otherwise, it was lost.
Yeah, you're not allowed to voluntarily discard. Mm-hmm. And we talk about the crests that were in our first game in rounds 3 and 4. Created that race for crests, but then once there's crests in here, you need to spend 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 food to get them out of there. So if you race to get a bunch of them...
you're stuck with them.
You're stuck with them. And I remember you filled yourself, you had like 3 crests in a round where like there was only 1 food die that even came out of the bag.
Well, the first game...
you had to work really hard to get them out.
No, the first game I got the sequence slightly incorrect, and I was just so competitive in all of them. I don't know why. I was just like calculating, okay, I need this one. If that one's not, I need that one. And then, for example, I need that one. I really need to get this one first. Maybe it's not as good, but if Tarrant, I look at Tarrant's board, okay, he might need this. Maybe I should do this first. I was like really calculative throughout, very competitive, and I get one thing wrong at one point. It's like, oh no, I have to discard something, or I did not get something, and then hence I didn't actually. It's kind of like a chain reaction thing.
Yeah.
Speaking about the dice, just really quickly, this is similar color. I don't know why this is on similar color, and this is the wool, this is the stone, and this is the anvil. And the anvil is blue, and I mean, only the first time that you like, which one is which? You get the other two, they are quite similar. You know, as long as you know which one's which, that's okay.
There was a couple of other things that were interesting here. One thing I couldn't really think of another game where it quite reminded me of it. All the actions and action points were kind of about gaining resources or moving around the map. Then all of the spending was kind of free actions.
Yeah.
So you could chain lots of things together because you would do the spending and you would get the bonuses that came from it. But it was kind of, I don't know, freeing or different to just have like all the bonus actions be free or free from an action point standpoint, which was a bit different.
Speaking about the chaining of action, you have these helper bonuses, which you actually it's fill up one of your 4 slots. You can use it to do the actions dictate here, and then that's the chaining reaction thing that you do. And I love that there are different strategies that you can do to get the points. So I've seen cathedral building. So building the cathedral is the top cathedral would worth most points. You can see here 7, 4, 2, and so on. And then you get the bonus on the tiles as well. So they are placed randomly. There's this one here, which is very juicy, 9 and 7. So that's simply 16 points to build this cathedral. So there's this cathedral strategy. There's also contract fulfillment strategy. So if you, not contract fulfillment. So if you fill this up, you can see that the first one, you get no extra points. But towards the end, you get 12, up to 12 on top of whatever it is that comes in the contract. And that's a lot. So I feel like that there's that strategy that you probably want to try to push in through until the last spot to get that sweet 12 points. There's also that building strategy that I've seen, which is this building here, which you get, you have to spend a lot of character points to place people there, make sure that the house is full. And if you fill up all your 6 houses, you get 30 points.
Yep.
That's quite a lot.
And as you complete these, you start getting bonus actions,
Yes.
give you extra action points on these spaces. You can the characters all have abilities that you can trigger again, so
You get
lots of
bonus
extra
as well.
action points if you get more people on your side.
It's really good. There's so many ways to get points. It's just like some of them,
And I think what's nice for me, we spoke about it a little bit with our Atiwa review last week, is I find a lot of games, they're very multiplayer solitaire these days. You've sort of got your own engine and you build on that. And this one strikes a nice balance between them because you've still kind of got your own thing going on here, but you've got some tough decisions on the action points and some tough decisions on racing to get the key things out here. So, because they are pretty much all limited.
One thing,
those are the things I really like. I think it makes it an excellent Eurogame.
and one thing, which is another different strategy, which is contributing to replayability, is the king track. What do you call this? King track strategy.
The king track, yes.
So look at this. If you all start with 0, on top of getting the bonus, you also get up to 15 points, and that's you probably won't get to 15 points every round, but if you have 15 points, at least 2 rounds at 30 points.
Yep, I know there's one of these that gives you king points again.
There you go.
I haven't tried that yet. I would like to try that. Focus on the king points, focus on king characters, combo them, do them over and over.
Although this keeps you bringing it down. It's kind of like a random, but it's a game, so there's random element, how many steps you actually have to move down each round.
Yep.
But this is overall, this is amazing. I think really, really recommend it. We both enjoy it. We're both very competitive and very calculative on every turn.
Yep, it scales down to 2 really well, which not every game like this does. So
it plays differently in 2 than you kind of like look at your opponent's board and like, okay, I think that your opponent's probably gonna get that, and you can probably sort of somehow control it a little bit better rather than say in 4 players. It's like, oh, this person might take this one. You can't really control everyone.
Yeah, because you'll lose a lot more of the best, the ones that are obviously, because there's always some that are obviously better.
Yeah.
Until your strategies diverge. But yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep. So board and dice have been doing well. We thoroughly enjoy the previous game, which is like a mid to heavy Euro terracotta army. And there's this one. And well done. Really highly recommend it. And that is all. So what do you think? Have you played it? I picked this up at Essenspiel 2022. Did you even picked it up? What do you think if you have played it? Is this on your waiting list? Is it in your Christmas list maybe? Even like Christmas coming up. Hey, very soon, like 1 more month or so. Yeah, let us know in the comment sections below. And if you like us to do more of this, and also don't forget to check out the how to play, which we have or will release. Check it out in the description. And if you enjoy this somehow, please hit the like button and again, comments below. I'm also on Instagram. Find me there as well. And hopefully we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.